Emily Dickinson was born December 10, 1830, and died May 15, 1886. Emily Dickinson lived her whole life in Massachusetts in her father's home. Dickinson was haunted by what she called the memories of death throughout her entire life. Between 1858 and 1865, she had wrote nearly 800 poems and came strongly confined with her home. Dickinson only talked to visitors through the closed side of the door and didn't even leave her room for her father's funeral that took place downstairs. Dickinson had carried her own particular style of punctuation and capitalization. Using this, she wrote more than 1,700 short poems and only had a few poems published anonymously throughout her lifetime. However, after she died, her sister discovered more than 1,800 poems. Hope is a Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could have washed the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Hope is a Thing with Feathers might be about someone who has little or no hope and may even involve a bird. Emily Dickinson created a metaphorical poem through the character of a bird. In this poem, it talks about how people all experience dark times and shows that by having hope, it might lead to the light at the end of the tunnel. The speaker makes sure as a reader we know there is always hope within our souls. Lines 1 through 2. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul. The speaker uses the literary device of a metaphor in these lines, so as an audience we think of hope as a bird as we continue to read the rest of the poem. Line 5. And the sweetest in the gale is heard. This is another metaphor statement, meaning that when things are at their worst, hope is at its most beautiful stage, leading to the light at the end of the tunnel. Line 9. I've heard it in the chillest land. This once again is a metaphor telling the audience that no matter how tough things get, you can always count on hope to lift you up. The poet and speaker's attitude was reassuring and soothing. They explain how there's always hope even in the worst times. The poet means for the speaker to express the poem in a happy way. They describe how hope is like a bird that is always there and joyful to remind you to never give up, especially when times get hard, because there are always better things to come. The poet and speaker's attitude is the same. Before shift, line 6. The author, Emily Dickinson, uses a semicolon within the poem instead of a comma or even no punctuation. Dickinson also talks about her personal self while the narrator is speaking. After shift, first stanza. In the second stanza, Dickinson put an A-B rhyme scheme in the poem. After reading the poem, the title shows the reader that hope is like a bird. Thematic topic: hope. Theme statement. The theme of this poem is some people don't believe in hope when they are at their worst, but what they don't know is that hope is always within them, and by having hope, it will lead them to the next journey in life.